So no, we've been giving the answer of it'll be in stores when it's done. So I can elaborate a little bit on that though. We're currently in alpha testing. We're definitely on track to go into a closed beta this year. The feedback we get from that closed beta will determine when we go into open beta, and then open beta feedback will determine when we ultimately launch. So it's not that we know the date and we're just not saying it. We don't actually know the date because it's very, very important for us to be able to respond to the feedback of our fans. And if we give a date and then we get a lot of feedback during beta that this needs to be improved or that needs to be improved, then we've kind of pigeonholed ourselves. We won't be able to respond to that, and we really need to respond to feedback. Yeah. Well, so a lot of that goes back to Guild Wars 1, where Guild Wars 1 was also buy the box and then play it, and we did have a microtransaction store in Guild Wars 1, and we plan on doing that exact same thing for Guild Wars 2, and the reason we have confidence in this model is because it worked very well for us with Guild Wars 1. Guild Wars 1 has sold almost 7 million copies at this point, and it was a very, very big success for us, especially as a startup, brand new studio with a brand new game. And Guild Wars 2, even though it is persistent, doesn't have that much of an increased overhead cost for us. So we're very confident that this business model, since it worked for us the first time, will work again. I'm not really sure actually why that model is not more popular. I mean, the thing that we see is we see a lot of players who say, I would play an MMO, but I don't want to pay a monthly fee. The thing that allows us to be very high quality is the fact that we are buy to play, we charge for the box, we feel that market is untapped. I can't really speculate on why our competitors don't see it that way. Maybe they just don't believe that we did that well with Guild Wars 1, but it's definitely a business model we believe in. So. So the entire sort of main story arc of Guild Wars 2 is all about defeating one of the Elder Dragons, which is Zhaitan. And Zhaitan, we've shown our dragons at the show. Zhaitan is much, much bigger than any of the dragons we've shown, like much, much, much bigger. And so the big thing ultimately is a giant hunt, more of a war to go after him, since you kind of don't hunt something that big. But as far as the other dragons, there will be many, many encounters where players will get to hunt down and defeat the other dragons, the smaller dragons, like the one that we're showing here at the show today. So last year at Gamescom, we showed just 2 playable races and things like that. So the thing that we've been really focusing on the last year is we kind of know what the game was after Cologne last year. We knew that people liked what we were doing, and so we really focused the last year has been on production and on really developing the game and getting all the systems in place, getting all the content in place. And you can see we made a lot of progress. We're showing 5 races. We're showing all but the last profession. We're showing PvP this year. So we've come a long, long way in just putting in systems and getting in a lot of content into the game. So we think the plot of the game is very, very important for us. Storytelling was very important in Guild Wars 1. Storytelling is very important in Guild Wars 2. And one of the things that we want, we have that line that we use where if you love MMOs, you'll love Guild Wars 2, and if you don't love MMOs, you'll love Guild Wars 2. That's because we really want to try to appeal to anybody who likes a PC RPG. Even if you don't like an online PC RPG, we want to try to have something in Guild Wars 2 for you. And that's where the personal story comes into play. And what we're trying to do with the personal story is really make it so it feels like your character is not just a Char warrior, but you're a specific Char warrior who has a background, who gets to make choices about how the story is going to play for them. We look at the overall Guild Wars 2 story is like an epic fantasy novel, and the parts that are multiplayer that everyone experiences, the big sweeping story of how you defeat the dragons. But if you look at a big epic fantasy novel, each of the individual characters has their own way that they got there, and that's kind of how we like to think of the different characters in Guild Wars 2. Is what is the way that you got here? Are you a noble who decided to take up champions the cause of defeating the dragons? Are you a person from the streets who had to fight your way up and survive and then become a hero? Everybody has a different story, and that's why we end each of our introduction ends with "This is my story," and we really want to try to make that a major part of the game. Thank you.